Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Topoco Lodge. I know a lot of you have visited Topoco Lodge on the weekends. You've told me so. But you can also stay with them or just drop in for a riverside meal at Topoco Tavern during the work week as well. Special Monday through Thursday rates are always available. Topoco Lodge. Do yourself a favor, check out topoco.com. Tell them the Sports Source sent you. Topoco Lodge. Folks, this isn't the first time UT has had a new head football coach. In fact, that happens just about every other year around here. But not only is it a new staff, this staff runs a locked up, buttoned up, zipped-lipped kind of program where Jeremy Pruitt doesn't, he doesn't say much, and what he says may be kind of subterfuge. You don't know if it's true or not. Toss in the fact that this team lost 8 games last year, a lot of that based on players who were recruited as better star players than they've played, so you don't know who's developed and who hasn't developed. Toss in the fact you got a lot of young guys on this team. Toss in the fact that a lot of those people that were signed have now left and transferred, so you're not sure what the core remaining is. Take all that into account. Is this the most mysterious Tennessee team ever, or at least that we've covered? I can't remember. You always go into a first game thinking, well, I think this, or based on last year, I think that. This may be the least, the team that we know the least about, in my view.
I think that is a fair statement. I think you go, and I just disagree with it. And everybody out there can say it's because you're part of the media. I think it's better for coaches and everything to be more open about things. That way you don't catch your fans don't get blindsided. I think it's just more interesting to read the paper and watch the reports on television when you get more information coming out. But back to the question, yes, because you don't know who has improved. That, I think, is the big thing. You don't know who's going to be totally healthy. That is also a big thing. So, yeah, now, does that mean I think this team could surprise and go 10-2? I don't think that, but I think they could possibly surprise in some ways. I don't think they will, but they could, because you just don't know.
Oh, I mean, it's almost to the point where you need a freedom of information request, to find out what happened at practice. And I just don't think it should be that way. I think it's something like this. You could have a policy, check your cell phones, at the door. No reporting about what goes on in practice. But
and if somebody violates it,
then somebody
does.
Well, yeah, and then do something. But to me, this borders on paranoia. And it's just not at Tennessee. It's happening more and more. And I think, is it a state university? Do people donate on? This seems to me there is a right for the public to know what's going on.
Right now, there are people, we're the enemies of the people. There are people out there viewing this saying, you're just mad. You're mad because you can't get in there and they don't tell you what's going on. We don't want to know. And then you read the message boards and they complain. These guys don't tell us anything.
Yeah, I mean,
well, which is it? I mean, what are you gonna tell somebody if you can't see practice and the coach is not talking?
I can see if you're getting ready for a championship game or if you're in something like that. But Mike, this just didn't. I just don't think it's kosher. I don't think it's right.
What do you think?
Well, I think that adds to the mystery, the fact that we don't know much. But I think if you went back to, I'm thinking back to 2010, Derek Doolich's first year, and what you had the junior college quarterback coming in and a freshman behind him. And I remember looking out there on the field at some of the guys that were actually in games or even starting games during that 2010 season, that was a pretty big mystery too. But certainly this one qualifies.
And does it make you wonder how closely you monitor your opponents? If you button things up like this, are you taking it to the level of let's see what we can find out about what South Carolina's doing, or let's get this nugget. It's not going to help you win a game.
One of the things I've seen on Twitter kicked around is the fact that, people at Alabama don't mind it. That's Alabama.
Exactly. That's the whole thing.
Fans of Nick Saban don't mind it. Fans of Bill Belichick don't mind it. End of list. I mean, in terms of teams and fans that say, don't tell me anything, we'll win.
If Jeremy Pruitt wins, this stuff doesn't matter
Correct.
to anybody. If Jeremy Pruitt loses, it'll be one of the logs they throw on the fire that gets his seat hot, that gets him out of here.
I just think we are in for an eye-opening September 1st opener. I think it's going to be one of the most eye-opening openers, not just because it's all this. Then you throw in the fact you're playing a good team.
And don't you
you're
think
not opening with Western
a little
Kentucky.
bit more open helps a coach build some equity with the media?
I don't know.
To me, it
does.
does.
Here's the deal. I don't think he needs to build equity with the media. It helps you build equity with the fans.
Well,
because
the
fans get to know you
But
better.
fans right now are listening to us saying you all are
imbeciles,
liars, wrong, fake news.
Yeah.
It's if you project good things, though. I will say this: if you project good things right now, you're doing so only on hope. If you project bad things right now, you're doing so based only on last year, which
Right.
I would say is better than just hope, because at least that's something I've seen. But in terms of people, you can't have it both ways. And I see people that are getting grumpy. It's like, well, where's the news? Nobody's reporting any news. Boy, I hope Pruitt shuts the news out. Well, that's the rub. Can't have it both ways. All right, when we come back, recruiting rankings. We get an update from our two recruiting experts, Josh and Ryan. Come on back on the Sports Source.